Have you ever seen an underwater waterfall with a drop of up to 3,500 meters? Have you heard of the Martian tide like the blue galaxy? Do you know what evil words look like? On the Earth where we live, there's too much bizarre. A variety of natural phenomena, but many of them are difficult for ordinary people to read in their lifetime. Today we will take stock of the 10 rarest natural phenomena on Earth. Each will make you marvel at the wonders of nature. The 10th place is the underwater waterfall, mentioned as the largest waterfall in the world. Many people probably think of Angel Falls. Its shelf drop reached 979 meters. A vivid illustration of what it means to fly down 3,000 feet. But there is such an undersea waterfall in the Denmark Strait. The disparity is so great. Even Angel Falls is a fragrant sword animal. The underwater waterfall in the Denmark Strait is located between Iceland and Greenland. Schu's family accidentally discovered here during seawater measurement experiments for the ocean. Up to 5 billion liters of water surging down every second fall into the bottomless trench. If you look down from a height, it's like an abyss that swallows everything. Slightly spectacular but chilling. According to scientists' estimates, this underwater waterfall can drop as high as 3,500 meters. Formed by the movement of continental plates. It is also due to the huge drop and complex terrain of the underwater waterfall. It's not yet possible to fly in and take a deep look at this wonder. The feeling of oppression brought by the fire waterfall compared to the underwater waterfall. Located in the southwestern United States, Fire Falls is even more breathtaking in its natural wonders. This is a remarkable waterfall in Yosemite National Park in California. It is about 600 meters high. It seems a little mundane on weekdays. But every February, this waterfall has the potential to become a fire fall, if you're lucky. You will see, a dragon was pouring down like hot lava from a distance. But its fiery waterfall is not made of lava or fire. The waterfall is still the same waterfall, but in the afterglow of the setting sun, the original water flow is refracted by sunlight, forming a magma-like existence. This curious optical phenomenon only took a few days a year to owe, because it only floods for a few months a year, and it can only be seen from a specific angle. So we wanted to capture it. It requires not only enough patience, it also requires considerable luck. Many photographers have been squatting for years and still come back without success. 8th place, Martian tide, moon, starry night. Blue fluorescent waves lapping on the shore. Connected with distant mountains and starry skies. Standing in it seems to see a blue galaxy. This is a rare Martian tide. Mars tide is also known as fluorescent beach. This is a romantic and rare natural phenomenon. Today there are only 7 places in the world that have this kind of spectacle. Fluorescent beach is not just blue. And sometimes there are fluorescent beaches made of dark green fluorescent colors which are just as intoxicating. Glow Beach looks pretty amazing, but it's essentially a bioluminescence. Typically there are 4 types of plankton that make fluorescent beaches. The most common are noctilucent beetles and dinoflagellates, which fluoresce blue. Also, like silverhouse thieves, glowing jellyfish sometimes create glowing beach vistas. These plankton contain a class of light-emitting substances called luciferin and luciferase. Cloud oxygen and adenosine triphosphate combine to produce a chemical reaction. They fluoresce very weakly, A few may not be inconspicuous. But when millions came together, and you get these amazing views of the Martian tides, it is worth noting that the phenomenon of fluorescent beaches is certainly quite romantic, but in recent years, due to the increasing activity of humans in the ocean, the composition of the water changes as a result. The plankton that can form fluorescent beaches has also started to skyrocket. This has led to an increasing rate of exodus of fluorescent beaches, a rather rare natural phenomenon. When these plankton and seaweed increase to a certain scale, it is also possible to develop red tides that are harmful to the ecosystem. Do you know how powerful the fire tornado with flames is? Do you know how doomsday volcanic lightning is generated? Do you know how magnificent the Gate of Earth rain, which has been burning for half a century, is? Uncover the 10 rarest natural phenomena on Earth and you will rediscover this amazing planet. 7th place, fire tornadoes. Fire and tornadoes are both extremely destructive disasters to humans, and when they come together, the power it contains will also multiply exponentially. This is a rare and amazing fire tornado of Peking opera. In 1871, there was a massive wildfire in Wisconsin, USA. More than 1,000 people were killed. At first, there were only sporadic airports due to the dry and hot weather. Small forest fire. Scale controllable. But with the strong wind, the fire is getting stronger. It eventually developed into a fire that engulfed the city. The fire lasted for several days. Villages along the way were also burned down. And in this fire, several villagers have witnessed a huge fire dragon rise towards the village. It was a huge pillar of fire surrounded by wind cannons. Trees were uprooted everywhere they went. And then a little bit more. The houses that were originally resistant to high temperatures were also demolished under the might of the fire tornado in 2010. Brazil has also had a fire tornado incident. It was during an extreme drought. There was a catastrophic wildfire in Sao Paulo. And then there was a huge temperature difference that created a storm near the fire. Wildfire meets storm once again formed a harmful fire tornado. Strictly speaking, a fire dragon is not the same thing as a traditional tornado. They're two completely different things. The formation of a fire tornado must first satisfy a huge temperature difference. For example, when two fire tornadoes occur, there have been wildfires on the scene when the fires formed. The surface temperature has risen sharply. Hot air keeps rising. A storm forms after encountering high-altitude cold air. And in the process, huge amounts of combustible materials are also involved to form a fire tornado. The 6th place is the huge abyss-like pit of the Gate of Hell. There's a middle-aged fire burning in it. It's easy to think of the legendary portal to hell. This is a natural gas crater in central Tucumán. It's 70 meters in diameter. The deepest point is estimated to be more than 20 meters. The raging flames in the middle have been burning for half a century. Such wonders also made people give him the title of the Gate of Hell. The gates of hell were first discovered in 1971. It is widely believed to have been caused by an expert drilling accident in the former Soviet Union. However, at that time there was no permanent flame inside this huge crater. What we have is this massive leak of natural gas. To prevent the leakage of ethane from the pothole, harmful gases such as propane are involved in surrounding villages. After consulting with the local government, these experts decided to use a combustion reaction to get rid of these natural and toxic gases. But this fire has been burning this natural gas pit for half a century. The hole becomes known far and near. It has become a world-famous attraction, attracting a large number of tourists every year. Feel the pressure of the gates of hell. It is understood that around 2010, the Putmanstein government has repeatedly announced that it will put out the flames here to prevent any impact on the local ecological environment. But the proposal fell through due to resistance from many parties. By 2018, the Turkish government has such plans again, but considering the heat of Hell's Gate, it is difficult for the Turkish government to make up its mind. Every year, in addition to the continuous stream of tourists who come to visit, and some brave explorers came here to die. July 2014, a Canadian explorer wearing a thermal suit enters a pothole. Become the first person in the world to enter the gates of hell. 5th place, volcano lightning. Volcanic eruption is a rather serious natural disaster. The high-temperature rock gun can melt any object in an instant. Some acid matches also form a lot of volcanic ash. The other party caused pollution for more than 10 kilometers, can induce a range of respiratory diseases such as asthma, and when the volcano erupts, it could also trigger a strange type of lightning phenomenon. This lightning phenomenon is extremely rare. Scientists have struggled to capture this wonder. These lightning bolts are often only about a meter or so. The time of appearance is also quite short. It's fleeting. But when the hot magma meets the blue arc, it's hard not to be amazed by this apocalyptic landscape. Rain is common, but have you ever seen a rain of blood as bright red as blood? Do you know what the devil's horn is in the sky? Have you heard of thunder leopard that never stops diarrhea? Show you the 10 rarest natural phenomena. Each is breathtaking. 4th place, Wanhua. Hanging in the air, colorful halos appear out of thin air. Like a kaleidoscope. It's hard not to be amazed. This is ice rime. Ice rime is a rare optical phenomenon produced by the refraction of light by ice crystals. It's formed in a similar way to a rainbow. The single formation condition is far more demanding than the rainbow, and when the mass and quantity of ice crystals in the atmosphere reach a certain level, it is possible to form an even rarer Wanhua election space. At night, the atmosphere is full of tiny ice crystals formed by water vapor. But when the sun rises, after the temperature rises, these ice crystals melt quickly. And when the atmosphere reaches a certain temperature, when ice crystals don't melt quickly, sunlight is also refracted by it. And this is a beautiful optical phenomenon. This peculiar landscape is extremely rare and extremely gorgeous, and our country has a clear record of thousands of flowers competing in the air, currently only 5 times. This January, there was such a wonder near Sailamu Lake in Xinjiang, our country. Supported by the poet, 3rd place, eternal thunderstorms. Thunderstorms are not uncommon. According to the data of China's meteorological disaster ship, in the past 10 years, on average, more than 9,000 lightning disasters occur in our country every year. But Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, thunderstorms happen all the time. Therefore, it is called the eternal thunderstorm. The lake is also known as Thunderstorm Lake. It's hot and rainy, frequent thunderstorms, and because there is a large oil field nearby, adults release large amounts of propane, butane gas, very easy to absorb surrounding free electrons, to form a high-voltage charged group. According to statistics, Lake Maracaibo experiences an average of more than 150 days of extreme thunderstorms per year. Immortal withstands up to 200 lightning strikes per hour. The second devil's horn was accidentally captured by a photographer while shooting a sunrise in Qatar in 2019. To a peculiar photo, Far out at sea level, a pair of red sharp corners is particularly eye-catching, just like the legendary devil's horn when the photo comes out. Sparked a heated discussion, and NASA came up with the answer. It turned out to be a rare overlap between an eclipse and a mirage. When a solar eclipse occurs, just as the sun rises, the sea is heating up, ultimately distorting the light to create this rare landscape. The first place is slanted. Blood red rain is not uncommon in some horror-themed film and television works. Often seen as a precursor to disaster. But have you ever seen blood rain in reality? The most well-known bloodbath took place in India. In 2001, it rained heavily in southern India. Different from before, this rain takes on the red of the demon field. Like blood, this salty language went on for 2 months. Hundreds of bloody rains fell in 14 counties under its jurisdiction. The streets and rivers are dyed red. Local residents from the very beginning of Peking opera. Later, I became accustomed to it. But the ingredients of the blood rain have been controversial. At first, it was thought that these blood showers were caused by a red comet. Because on the eve of the bloody rain, many people heard a loud explosion, but when the comet disintegrated in the atmosphere, the red dust in its fragments falls to the surface with rain. This rare landscape is formed. But after the sample of evil language was sent, such speculation was quickly rejected. And then a bunch of weird conjectures came along, some people think. So salted fish are nature's outrage at what the human body is doing, and some people think it's some kind of alien life. Finally, British scientists gave a relatively reliable answer. They found some algae DNA in the salted fish. Very similar to algae that cause red tides. And there is some truth to that. But how did these algae get to the sky? And then it lasts for 2 months? That's why, to this day, the origin of salty languages is an unsolved mystery. However, the origin of some salty languages has also been revealed, such as in the 16th century. A small town in Germany once had a bad rain. Red rain soaks the earth, and that really surprised people at the time. But then it was discovered the source of this rainwash is the red mineral dust from North Africa. The currents passing through the Atlantic are carried here, and finally it mixed with rain. Formed salted fish. But not all evil words can be applied to this explanation. In many places, the origin of evil words is unknown. Further scientific research is needed.